Hey you guys, it is me, Laura, and I'm so excited. I have a book review for you today, and it is one that I just can't wait to share with you. It is called, now this is one I was looking for an encouraging parenting book, but parenting books are frustrating to me, so frustrating. I don't know if any of you guys share the same sentiment, but I find that a lot of times it's about manipulating child behavior to get the result that you want, or it's so theoretical and not really practical, or it's very pie in the sky, like, yeah, it would be great if I did X, Y, and then Z happened, but I do X, Y, and Z doesn't happen, or just not really helpful, not really practical, and really, really frustrating. So I was looking for something that would really help me to focus on Christ in my parenting, really bring me back to the feet of the cross, and really help me to share Jesus with my kids, and just help me get through some of the frustrating things. And I found this book while randomly searching on Amazon, and it was new. It had just come out, and I wasn't sure about it, but I thought, you know what? It looks good. The reviews are good. I'm going to go for it. So this is it. It's called Triggers, and it is by Amber Lee and Wendy Spake. I'm not quite sure how to say her last name. And it says, Exchanging Parents' Angry Reactions for Gentle Biblical Responses. This book is about me as the parent and the way that I'm responding to my children. It's not about what can I do to make my child listen and be more respectful and more responsible, because the reality is that we cannot really, our children are people, and they ultimately decide what they do. Now, we can break their will and make them do just what we want, but I'm not quite sure, at least for me, I don't feel comfortable doing that. That's not my personality at all. And that wouldn't be me parenting. That would be me doing what somebody else is telling me that I need to do. But I feel like it's just not quite right. So I was reading this table of contents, and you guys tell me if you guys struggle with being angry with any of these things, because I know I sure do. Disobedience, backtalk, disrespect, strong-willed children, angry kids, whining and complaining, sibling rivalry, ignoring instruction, lying and deceit, manipulation. It also has something talking about ADHD, autism, dyslexia, OCD, APD, and ODD. So if you have kids with any of those issues, it covers them too. Video game addiction, overstimulation, irresponsible behavior, and when will they ever change? And then it also talks about internal triggers, things that trigger us into negativity that are not necessarily brought on by our children, but things going on inside of us. Lack of faith, generational habits and patterns of sin, depression, postpartum and hormonal imbalance, exhaustion, running late, no personal space, going it all alone, challenging relationships with in-laws or lack of relationships with in-laws, lack of family support, all the noise, roughhousing, messy home, the pressures of multitasking, times of transition, caring for sick children and ailing parents, stress, feelings of guilt. So, I mean, this book really covers it all. But the thing that I love is that when I read this is so meaty. I can only read one chapter for a minimum of a week because usually a month I am really praying over and working through and kind of going through the things that I'm learning in there. I think it was this first chapter, I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure it was this first chapter of disobedience. One of the things that got me with that chapter is it talked about the importance of coaching your children. So helping them and setting them up to do the things that they need to do. So one way that I've learned they use the example of a coach, and one particular coach having a track student who was struggling and running alongside that student with them to the finish line, and how that gave them the extra oomph they needed to make it and do well. And that kind of being our role as a parent is to coach these kids and to kind of have them to help them to succeed. And that really changed a lot for me, because I would ask my kids to do something and then get so frustrated, and then I'd go do what I needed to do, and I'd come back and it wasn't done. And it kind of changed my thinking to help me realize, okay, wait, so I need kid A, I don't know, I'll just pick Samuel because he's the oldest, and Timothy's still really learning a lot. But let's just say Samuel for the sake of this example. So let's say I ask Samuel to get dressed. Well, I know that Samuel gets distracted by a lot of things. So I can say, okay, Samuel, what do you need to do to get dressed? And walk him through that and talk him through that. And if he's getting distracted, rather than going in there, Samuel, what are you doing? Be like, okay, Samuel, you're going to get dressed. How can I help you do that? Or not how can I help you do that? I mean, maybe that's appropriate for your child and where they're at. But I might say, okay, Samuel, and I might walk to his room with him and make sure he opens the drawer and does the steps and really encourage him. And over time, he can do these things better on his own, but how can I set him up to succeed? That doesn't mean that he always still succeeds. And there are times when I can't be as hands-on, but as much as possible, viewing my job as a coach to help him succeed in life. And he still has to do the work and he still has to make the choice, but shifting my perspective from that as kind of being on the same team, as opposed to, I'm telling you to do this, why aren't you listening? Why aren't you doing this? Does that make sense? I mean, that's just an example, but there's examples about whining and complaining, like, and how I respond to my kids. Like, do I respond with more whining and complaining? Do I respond by getting upset and frustrated, or do I try and deflate the situation? I'm trying to think, what are some more? There's so much. I have this book marked up like you would not believe. It's just a lot about coming alongside your child, setting them a good example, and really thinking about the way that you're responding to things and how that can change your kids. And sometimes, like, when your kid is just raging and going crazy, you can say to them, okay, you stay in your room, and when you've calmed down, then we'll talk about it. And if they have to be in there raging for quite a while, then that's fine. If they're not going to allow you to help talk them down, I see my role as from this is I have to remain calm, and I'm not good at this, y'all. I really struggle with this, but I just feel like whenever I'm struggling the most with parenting, I can pick up this book and there is going to be a chapter that I can just read, and even if I don't pick the right chapter, right, quote unquote, for the problem that I'm dealing with, there is going to be something in that chapter for me to really ponder on and think about, and it has affected my parenting in a very, very positive way. So anyway, I could go on, and I've already gone on a very long time. I highly recommend this book, Triggers, and I will put a link to it below, but it has just been a game changer for me. And I'm wondering from you guys, have you found any parenting books that have just really, really been super helpful to you and have really just kind of been that book that you go back to again and again to encourage you along your parenting journey? I would love to hear about it below, so please let me know. And then all of you guys check the comments too, because there might be some awesome books. There's gonna be some awesome books down there for you to check out. But that is what I have to share with you guys today, and I hope that you're having a great day. And remember, as parents, none of us are perfect, and our children will not be perfect, but the most important thing is to constantly love them and pour into them, and that's the best we can do. And I hope that you guys have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.